The college baseball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times your money with an entry on Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up today with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by the SGPN Mega Memorial Day merch sale. Get 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store with the promo code SGPNMay. Good morning, college baseball fans. We are going to get a bracket today. The field of 64 will be announced in 15 minutes or a little bit more, depending on how much fluff is at the beginning of this NCAA selection committee selection show. I'm your host today, Noah Bieniek. It's going to be a watch party. First off, I'm going to start off for probably the first 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll have a guest join for live reactions as the field starts to get unveiled. And then it's going to open it up to anybody else that I sent the link to. Again, if you were with me through the entire season, starting in the preseason, you have heard of a couple of names that I sent the link to. They were all participating in that preseason college baseball fantasy draft. And there are a bunch of personalities and content creators in the gambling space for college baseball. It should be a very, very fun day of college baseball content today. I'm going to jump in immediately to what Rocco Miller and I did last night on this show. If you were listening, this was the reaction show to the top 16 regional hosts being announced. We don't have the 1 through 16 exact order, but we do have those 16 teams. The three somewhat surprises here where Arizona gets rewarded for sweeping the Pac-12, winning the regular season and the Pac-12 conference tournament title. Oregon State also sneaks in as a third West Coast host, and East Carolina sneaks in as a second mid-major host. We decided to go with this order: Arizona, Oregon State, East Carolina. East Carolina probably had the biggest question mark next to their name once we saw Greenville Regional announced. East Carolina with a 22 RPI. They did not finish the season well. They have a bunch of injuries, and that's what they're kind of maybe getting a little bit of a pass on. But typically in recent years and also in other sports, when you have injuries late in the year, you don't normally get an excuse for that. It's usually a knock against you. So very interesting there that the committee went with East Carolina. Also very interesting that East Carolina's athletic director is on the selection committee. So we learned a couple of things from the top 16 seeds being announced yesterday. I would say the first thing that we announced here, or that we learned here, was that having representation on the committee is going to matter. And the other thing is they might be rewarding conference regular season champions and or tournament champions more than just really solid regular season performers like a Mississippi State or just a conference tournament title like Duke. Both of those teams left on the outside of the hosting bubble, and both probably had really good cases to be inside of it. The YouTube chat is already rolling. We've got over 105 of you guys that have already started to tune in, 43 specifically on YouTube. Bailey's rocking and rolling. As an ECU alumni, I can honestly say that we did not deserve this at all. But Bailey, I will say you guys have paid your dues. Like in years past, East Carolina is not the program or team to get the break. So I wouldn't be saying like, hey, we don't deserve this at all. I would be saying, we have, established ourselves as a really good baseball program that has been in regionals year in, year out. You deserve to have gotten a little bit of a break there. That would be your argument, I would say. So just use that if any Mississippi State fans come at you during the week. Channing Brown says, I guess the ECU AD just believed more than the rest. No weak heart. Shout out to Colby. He is the best man at his best friend's wedding today, so he's unfortunately not going to be able to attend this watch party here. But yeah, we're sounding off the saxophones as we currently speak with the We Believe theme song. So yeah, that was what happened yesterday with the hosts. The regional bubble is interesting for sure. Last night, this is kind of what we had settled on. Charleston being a last four team or a first. Yeah, Charleston was the first team that we left out, and we listed Florida, K-State, Coastal Carolina, Indiana, all in the bubble. Also, they have all four of those programs representation on the committee. TCU is kind of the bubble team in the Big 12 that if Kansas State gets in and the committee's not going to give in to the Big 12 on another team up for the bubble, TCU might be getting the boot here. And recently, so I'm going to stop sharing real quick and I'm going to share this screen. Rocco Miller published his final bracketology projection here for the field of 64. And his exact words were, so he made a couple of tweaks since Sunday here. I had the opportunity to sleep on some of the real narrow decisions. Here are the main changes. Charleston's into the field, replacing James Madison. History favors the Dukes here, as JMU played the fifth toughest non-conference schedule, and the Cougars played many home games in non-conference action. The reason for the switch is that the Cougars were the more consistent team all year in league play in the Coastal Athletic Association, winning the biggest pair of series they faced all year, which were Northeastern and UNC Wilmington against, and he listed that there. If the committee gave us any downstream clues yesterday, they have respect for league champions. I think this could additionally benefit College of Charleston. James Madison could still be selected over a few teams. However, I'm sticking with Indiana, Coastal Carolina, Florida, and K-State quartet to get in with some committee help. His order of national seeds also adjusted a little bit here. He said that he moved Oklahoma State up to 10th overall as the Big 12 champ, and he wanted to pull NC State up ahead of Virginia as well. He also said, I'm going with ECU as the regular AAC champions to squeeze in ahead of Oregon State, who has no conference titles this season. So he mentioned this on the show last night that he could possibly see Oregon State slipping to that 16 seed. The reasoning would be for the no titles, but he also said there could be some strong push for East Carolina and a favorable seeding there, not getting sent to Knoxville for a possible super regional. So his final bubble, I'm displaying on bracketeer.org. I was looking at our final bubble to see what has kind of changed from his last five in and first five out currently. So his last five in goes as is: TCU, Indiana, Florida, Kansas State, Charleston. And then that big move was James Madison's now the first team out, along with Cal, Georgia Tech, Northeastern, and Lamar. And he also says, thank you to everyone taking interest in the analysis for the past 6 days. I've enjoyed it and learned so much. Appreciate all of the insiders out there who are willing to answer questions. Enjoy regionals, everybody. We will do this again in a year. Cheers. Also, shout out to him for including the shout out to the show last night. I mean, this is great work. He does this all year round for college basketball. I highly recommend for those that are interested, tune in for sure to his work. I swear by him. And during the college basketball season, he is all over the freaking country, man. Like one day he's in California, then he's flying over to Florida, and they're mid-major competition. And like, I give him so much. I respect that so much. Just traveling his butt off to cover the great game of college basketball and college sports in general. Honkus says Holman Jump is the best 1-2 punch in the country. Channing Brown playing the saxophone in the YouTube chat in honor of Colby and his East Carolina Pirates. Lane Elliott says, what's the over-under on Dundee's number of old fashions drank today? Channing Brown says 13.5, and I think that's an outstanding number. outstanding. I'm thinking either 4 or 5 prior, because he is the best man. He's going to want to be loose for that speech. And then, I mean, there's going to be plenty drank tonight. Lane Elliott says Channing Brown, LOL. I'm taking the 15 plus at plus money then for the alt line. Channing Brown goes, alt lines are encouraged with this. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in here. It is 11:56 a.m. Eastern time. The selection show will begin in 4 minutes. I've got that off to the right. I will have at least one guest joining here in a couple of minutes to react live to the selection committee's decisions. But before we get into the heat of it all, the SGPN promos have been fun. We've promoted a lot of shows prior to this moment this week. However, your boy in the college baseball experience will be read and promoted throughout the network. You listen to the NBA gambling podcast, you listen to the hockey gambling podcast, if you listen to the sports gambling podcast, my promo for this show will be read. Join Noah and the college baseball experience throughout the road to Omaha, as the show is the industry leader in NCAA baseball gambling analysis. The tournament begins Friday morning, May 31st. During the week leading up to Friday, listen to all 16 regional previews or the bracket picks episode to make sure you get down on some of the best price futures available. Also, Noah will be releasing daily betting picks episodes throughout the entire tournament. Experience the better side of college baseball with the college baseball experience. Also, I will say D1 baseball in years past has, allowed us to create bracket pools on their website. The goal is to create a group, and then we'll have a couple of prizes depending on how large we'll get this group. So I will send that link out on D1 baseball immediately. All you have to do, D1 allows you to compete for free. All you have to do is just create an account on their website. You can get into our group and then compete alongside me and some of your other favorites in SGPN and the college baseball gambling space. Plus, SGPN is running a Mega Memorial Merch Day sale, 15% off everything in the merch store. Promo code SGPN May. This shirt right here, all different colors for the college baseball experience, but there's also college football experience, college basketball experience merch. These hats, they're in 3 or 4 different styles that you can grab them. Highly recommend you all jumping over there. I think this is going to last throughout the month of May. So yeah, SGPN May, 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store. Also, the NBA playoffs are here, and our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, wants to make it a lot more interesting for you guys. Underdog is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and so much more. Make entries of all basketball or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Underdog is available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and even Canada. I was writing nightly articles for covering a bunch of different player projection markets over there on Underdog Fantasy. We were hitting at 62%. When you're doing that at a great rate, making a lot of money, it's a lot of fun. So again, I encourage you. They're now legal in Michigan for drafting fantasy, a bunch of different sports. Also, they just launched their Champions Player versus Player format in Florida. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Promo code TCESGPN at UnderdogFantasy.com. YouTube chat absolutely buzzing. I appreciate it from all of you guys. We've got 71 in YouTube currently, 218 tuned in across a bunch of different platforms. James Robertson here saying, let's go. Mike Prima, LSU going back to back. Boys, get over it. Go Tigers. A team from North Carolina is winning it all this year. Channing Brown saying, putting some respect on Noah's name. Love it. From the SGPN read there. Kip C says, going to be a really fun tournament this year. Can't wait. Brandon Baker says, Gators sneaking in for show, getting knocked out of their own regional. I agree with you. They're probably going to go 2 and barbecue or 1 and 2. If they get in, I'll find a way to pick against them. I don't really like the mojo of the team. Pooh Bear DePlug says, I hope LSU comes to Arkansas. Well, that would be through a super regional. That would be plenty of fun. However, that's not going to happen the first weekend. But that would be an outstanding super. BDuck44 says, let's go Kentucky. And Giant Raid in Night says Grand Canyon is going to bust some brackets. The 4 seed probably most likely heading over to the Tucson Regional, to play Arizona in game 1. Should be interesting. Jay Rowland says Mississippi State winning their regional. I mean, they are playing really well right now. Kip C, Indiana State, still getting shafted by the NCAA. And Dawson Orsak says, thoughts on Texas? My thoughts, they're probably going to be one of the lowest 2 seeds in the field this season. And they're probably going to Texas A&M. That would be my guess if they're a 2 seed. So I would be hoping, honestly, if you're rooting for Texas, hope for them to be a 3 seed, one of the top 3 seeds, and they won't probably be sent to College Station. Let me know if my TV to my right is a little too loud, but I'm going to try to also hear some analysis that they're giving. So if you are able to hear it and it's loud, let me know in the comments. Bailey said Indiana State got gifted last year, though. Yeah, but they also had to forfeit their super regional host, so I kind of felt bad for them getting shafted this year. Angel or Angel Galarza says, hi, I got Cal, Coastal, Florida, and Troy as the last 4 teams in. Gibson Smith says, I'm hearing TCU got left out. Who are you hearing that from, Gibson? That's really interesting, and they are on the bubble. They've got a lot to sweat out here today. Josh Byland says, Nebraska, ? Going to be a 2 seed, solid 2 seed. They're either going to stay in Central America, either Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. I doubt they go to Texas A&M. I would probably send them out west before they go to Texas A&M. Channing Brown says, I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about baseball. I just love the content. Is this like Selection Sunday? Yes, but it's Selection Monday on Memorial Day here. It's going to be very fun. We've got Kyle Peterson talking here on the TV currently during the selection show. Representative, last year for the Pac-12. KP, I'm rooting for you. Hopefully we get like 4 or 5 Pac-12 teams. Hopefully Cal gets to sneak in there, his arch rival, but in his Bay Area. BDuck44, who's more likely to win the whole thing? Well, I've been waiting the entire season to see the draw because this year seems like there are not many of the top tier candidates that look unbeatable, or just invincible, I would say. So it all kind of is going to depend on the draw for me. Working to the bone says Oregon, let's frickin' go. MLG Spoderman says, are the Gators getting in? I think they might sneak in here as one of the last 4 teams in. They do have representation on the committee. 28 and 27 is definitely questionable, but they're 13 wins against SEC competitors. 9-9 record against the top 6 teams that they played this season. Is definitely a really interesting stat. Tyler asks, who will be number 1? Will the number 1 overall seed finally win, Noah? That's a good question. This year it's going to be Tennessee. They've got a fighting shot. Tennessee, the number 1 overall seed, just got released on ESPN2. 50-11 this season, 22-8 in the SEC. They're 4th in Division I with a 3.83 team ERA. That offense is also electric, too. So since 1999, no number 1 overall seed has won the national championship. That's the number 1 seed curse. The number 2 seed here is the Kentucky Wildcats, 40-14 this year. They went 22-8 in the SEC, split the regular season title with Tennessee. They have stolen 109 bases this season, which is tied for 17th in Division I. This team can do it all. Not really elite in any form or category, offensively, defensively, or pitching-wise, but they are solid all around. Texas A&M is the 3 seed. Again, everything here so far has been kind of to plan from what Rocco and I have discussed from the beginning. Gibson, that would be copyright. I can't quite show you the screen. I'm just reacting live to all of this going down. Texas A&M, one of the most powerful offenses in the country, also one of the most steady pitching staffs in the country. 3rd in ERA in Division I. The 4th seed is North Carolina. The Tar Heels 42-13 this season, 22-8 in the SEC or in the ACC. Sorry, with a 311 batting average that was 21st in D1. All of these stats that I'm rattling off right here are just from their bugs on the selection show. And trust me, we'll go through all of this when the entire field gets announced here. Kip C says A&M is scary. They might be due to getting back into form. The 5th overall seed here is Arkansas. This was to be expected so far. Rocco and I from last night are 5 for 5. The Razorbacks 43-14. They went 20-10 in the SEC this season. The second best team ERA in the country with a 3.66. Jamal Christian, I actually probably can do an Excel sheet here in a second once they start or once they stop rattling off the top 8 seeds, and I'll be able to display that. Crutch says the year of the 2 seed with LSU, DBU, Mississippi State, and etc. It just depends on the draws, honestly, because there are a couple of questionable 1 seeds that I would feel good about picking against. The 6th seed is Clemson, 41-14 this season. They are also another very, very solid team. Tremendous depth on the mound. Batting lineup 1 through 9 can rake. 7 seed Georgia. That is a surprise. Personally, we had last night Georgia outside of the top 8. They went 1 and done in the SEC tournament. They were 17-13 this season in the SEC. They had a high RPI, 39-15 overall this year, 140 home runs, which was 3rd best in the country. Florida State sneaks in as the final top 8 seed. And again, all these top 8 seeds, if they win their regional, they then host the super regional, and you would only need to win 2 games in that to get to Omaha on your own field. Number 8 seed, Florida State, they're 42-15 this season. They went 17-12 in the ACC, 557 slugging percentage, which is the 9th best in the country. Kip C, here's to Molina or Tiger getting their mojo back. I think we all have our fingers crossed for that for sure, right? Tennessee, number 1 overall seed. They are announcing their field currently as we speak. Northern Kentucky heading to Tennessee. So Northern Kentucky is not going to Lexington. They're heading to Knoxville. They're all going crazy. They had a live reaction camera there in NKU for the Norse. Indiana Hoosiers are headed to Knoxville as well. I'm currently working on setting up a Google Sheet. Indiana is the 2 seed here? No, Southern Miss is the 2 seed. So they're going 3 seeds on top of 2 seeds now. That's interesting because the softball show is different. So Indiana, the 3 seed, Southern Miss, the 2 seed here. Northern Kentucky, Indiana, Southern Miss. I will display this now. So East Carolina is the 16 seed like we predicted last night as well. As you can hopefully see this here. I think I've got this working out. I'm working on clearing everything as well. So Evansville is the 4th seed in Greenville. Evansville is a really strong 4 seed. That's my immediate reaction there. So a little bit of a punishment for East Carolina sneaking in as a regional host. The 3 seed is VCU. That's a week 3. I was personally thinking that VCU would be a 4 seed in Charlottesville. The 2 seed is Wake Forest. One of the stronger 2 seeds here. That instantly is, I think, my favorite to come out of this regional based on East Carolina's injuries right now. That one's going to be fun. East Carolina will see if they get themselves back, partially collapsed long. He didn't pitch last weekend. I think they'll probably get it back. Look on the other side. This one could get in and run through and win on the road. Then you get Tennessee. There's a kid named Chase Burns. So a potential Tennessee, East Carolina, or Tennessee Wake Forest super regional And Tennessee's no guarantee to come out of there. That's going to be a rematch of Tennessee Southern Miss or Super Regional from last year. Oklahoma, the 9 seed. Where is Norman here? There we go. Haven't hosted a regional since 2010. They will open up against Oral Roberts being sent to Norman, the Norman Regional 4 seed there. Oral Bob, the Cinderella that went to Omaha last year in the College World Series. UConn is the 3 seed here in Norman. And the 2 seed, Rocco Miller texted me. He says he noticed that ESPN has cameras on James Madison, but not on Cal or Charleston. Something to note there. Possibly Cal and Charleston on the outside looking in right now. Duke going to Norman, the Norman Regional, as the 2 seed. That's an interesting one there. Oklahoma is a candidate to get upset in this regional by Duke. Oklahoma, when they were playing strong Big 12 teams this season, they did not live up to the hype. Florida State as the 8th seed is the next regional that will be announced here. Stetson, of course, the 8th seed from, the 4 seed from Florida is getting sent to the Florida Regional here. Stetson playing Florida State in game 1. Really interesting. Stetson can punch up really well. They knock off a lot of these Florida teams. UCF was also pretty much a given as the 3 seed from Florida as well. So could we drill this entire regional right? Yesterday we had Southern Miss as the 2 seed. So no, we can't. But the 2 seed is Alabama. This is a weak regional. I think Florida State gets out of here. In the field for the first time in 10 years. NKU and UCF best watch party react so far. Over 240 people in here live on YouTube. Shout out to all you guys. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. The college baseball experience giving out daily picks throughout the NCAA tournament, previewing all 16 regionals in depth, 10 to 15 minute long episodes here. They will begin later on this afternoon. Arkansas, the 5th overall seed. Yesterday, this projection that we had Long Island as the 4 seed here, Louisiana Tech the 2, and Kansas State the 3. Let's see what happens here. The OVC, so that's SEMO, right? SEMO headed to Fayetteville as a 4 seed. Kansas State's the 3 seed, like we had last night. So who's going to be the 2? Last night we had Louisiana Tech. We also said Louisiana could be a candidate there. Tournament appearance in their first in 11 seasons. Welcome back to the field of 64 Cats. You will face battle Cats and Dogs. The Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. So we had 3 out of 4 in Fayetteville as well last night. We had that pretty well. Trust me, I'll get to the YouTube chat, but we are flying right now. I love it. Just get it done and over with. Let's go. Step on the gas, baby. Charlottesville is the 12. We had them as the 10 last night. Taking on the Penn. Penn is a threat. Last year they went to the regional final in the Auburn regional. They knocked off Auburn in game 1. They unfortunately couldn't finish the job against the 2 seed Southern Miss in that regional final. Last night we had Indiana State as the 2 and James Madison as 3. I feel pretty good about Indiana State going here to Charlottesville. St. John's is the 3 seed in Charlottesville. I love this draw for the Johnnies. That's a team that I have a future on to make the Omaha. Mississippi State is the 2 seed. I don't like this draw anymore. Mississippi State's very, very live in Charlottesville there. So a potential Arkansas, Mississippi State super regional there. Also, if it goes chalk, it would be Arkansas, Virginia. Another fun matchup could be Mississippi State and Louisiana Tech in the super regional here. Randall, I don't think Mississippi State got hosed at all. If you're talking about like regional hosts, sure, but this is a tremendous draw. You would have been one of the Mississippi State would have been one of the last regional hosts and would have by that virtue had a harder regional to get out of. Here they got a really friendly draw, I do believe. Crutch says that's going to be a mess of a regional. All right, we're heading to Tucson now. They are the 13 seed. Tucson is. Arizona is. Grand Canyon was the 4 seed for us last night on the show. They are heading over to Tucson to play Arizona in this regional. Last night, the 2 and 3 seeds in this one was San Diego, and we had Alabama. So this is a candidate to send somebody out west. So this could be Florida if you're looking for one of those risky bubbles. But instead, it's one of the best. West Virginia gets onto the 3 line, and they are going out west. So this is going to be a really strong 2. San Diego, it's Dallas Baptist. Dallas Baptist is going to Tucson, not San Diego. So Dallas Baptist can kind of do it all. Really good pitching staff, really powerful offense going up against a really finesse pitching staff in Arizona. Grand Canyon's frisky as a 4 seed. West Virginia's very fun 3. Very fun 3 there. North Carolina, Chapel Hill is the 4th overall seed here, like we mentioned earlier in the show. Last night, our regional that we projected here for North Carolina, Bryan as the 4 seed, Vanderbilt is 2, UConn is the 3. Long Island is going to Chapel Hill as the 4. The Long Island, the fucking Sharks, the Sharks. Wofford as the 3. That's one of your weaker 2s, weaker 3s right there. They were an auto bid, and getting on the 3 line, I expect a strong 2 here. LSU heading to North Carolina. That's going to be a fun 1-2 there. I knew that had to be a strong 2 once I saw Wofford. That's super fun.
Yeah, there's some real star power in these 8 teams. J.J. Weatherholt for West Virginia, one of the best hitters in the tournament. Ryan Johnson, the ace for DBU. Then you think about Chapel Hill. What if
potential super regional dream matchups here? North Carolina, Arizona, if it goes chalk. North Carolina, Dallas Baptist would be a very fun offensive super. Also, West Virginia is very live out of the Tucson regional. That would be super fun. West Virginia would travel down the Chapel Hill as well. But LSU, they come out. LSU, Arizona, Jay Johnson, former head coach over there for the Wildcats, would be a really fun super regional. He heads back to Tucson. Oh, baby, get your popcorn ready. They're about to hit commercial right here, it looks like. All right, so real quick, before, while they're in the ad, I have to hit an ad too. That way we can balance this out. If you're betting on NBA player props throughout the NBA postseason, then you need to download Rhythm, RITHMM. Rhythm gives you, I'm going to mute this here real quick. Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game, making it easy to go through and find the best props to put your money on in seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team of data scientists and quants that focus on fine-tuning their algorithm to give you the best shot at winning. Rhythm pairs its predictions with player prop graphs to help you feel even more confident in your picks, which can make you confident wherever you normally place your bets or DFS picks. From superstars to bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by AI data, without you needing to endlessly scroll a sports book. Rhythm also allows you to create your own NBA custom models so you can get AI-backed moneyline, spread, and total picks for every playoff game. Start a 7-day free trial today and start winning your NBA playoff props with Rhythm, available wherever you get your apps. Alrighty, here. First guest that we're going to have joining on the show from the College Baseball Insiders. You know him, you love him. It's Matt Grissom, Grissom on X. Grissom, welcome to the show.
Hello.
We've seen 8 regionals currently be announced: Knoxville, Greenville, Tallahassee, Norman, Fayetteville, Charlottesville, Chapel Hill, Tucson. I know you currently are also pumping in some of these teams into a spreadsheet so you can then display them on your own website. Which one immediately jumps out as like the most interesting regional to you hear?
I think Tucson is going to get drunk. Like, this is going to be outstanding. Arkansas got a surprisingly easy draw. I feel like Kansas State, they've kind of been up and down all season long. Louisiana Tech's been good, but I just feel like with that pitching rotation for Arkansas, assuming they'll throw like Gage Wood against Southeast Missouri and then have Hagan against Louisiana Tech or Kansas State, I feel like they're just in the driver's seat in that one. I was late to filling it out. I was trying to get my wife and kids out the door so they can go to the pool so I could focus on this. And then, of course, in molasses-like fashion, my 5-year-old was very slow to get out. So
Gotcha.
I was obviously late to the party. But as I sit here and try to fill in this bracket, this is going to be spicy.
Yeah, we've got over 314 people here in YouTube currently live, over 760 tuned in cumulative across all platforms. Shout out to all you guys listening. Drop a like, hit subscribe to wherever you're listening to this show. And the content does not stop here. It's only going to keep getting better as both Grissom over there at the College Baseball Insiders and myself here with the College Baseball Experience will be giving out some of the sharpest angles and picks across all platforms here for the NCAA Baseball Tournament. The show is back from commercial. The interesting 3 seed that I thought would get sent west that did not was Florida. I also received a text from Rocco Miller from who was on last night as a guest. He said, surprised that Alabama got a 2 seed. Otherwise, most looks as I expected. Kansas State, Indiana, of course, they were in, LOL. So Kentucky is the 2 seed here. Western Michigan is the 4 seed. The Broncos heading down to Lexington to play the Wildcats in game 1. Last night, our regional here was Louisiana and Evansville as 2 and 3, but Evansville was previously announced as a 4 seed. Illinois is your 3 seed here in the Lexington regional. And the 2 seed, I would expect a strong 2 seed here. Indiana State. Yep. So that's a really balanced regional. You got Illinois, who won the regular season title in the Big Ten, Indiana State, who just missed out on a top 16 host, and Kentucky, the number 2 overall seed there. Any thoughts real quick, Grissom, on the Lexington regional?
No, I wish they wouldn't have done the seeding the way. So it's 1, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah. Oregon State, the 15th overall seed. So that means 16th might be UC Santa Barbara.
Oh.
15, Oregon State. They're getting Tulane as their 4 seed. So they're the Green Wave hopping on a flight to Corvallis.
Nichols going. I'm ahead of you, so I'll reserve my
Nichols as the 3 seed. One of the weaker 3s, so expect a strong 2. Possibly a flight out or UC Irvine here.
Yep, UC
Irvine, yep. Strong 2. I do like that draw for Oregon State, though.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have really any issue getting out of their home regional here. So Yeah, I mean, UC Irvine, super solid team all year long. They kind of peaked in the rankings at like 12, according to D1 Baseball there. And Oregon State, also have been really good the entire year. They battled a ton of injuries in the lineup. Nichols State's going to be a tough one for UC Irvine game 1 with Jacob Myers, their ace. Potential dream super regional matchups here. Kentucky, Oregon State, of course, that's if it goes chalk. UC Irvine, Indiana State, two of the more frisky mid-majors this season, could be fun. Oregon State, Illinois, a battle of power oranges. Really, this is kind of going to be one of the super regionals that's going to be shoved on the ESPN Plus, in my opinion.
Probably so. The Kentucky regional is
Austin M says, nice setup for Oregon State. Kip C, Oregon State and Kentucky is going to be fun. Austin M, Indiana State can beat Kentucky. NC State's your 10 seed. Rally regional contains. Last night we projected it to be Army as the 4, Mississippi State as the 2, which no longer can happen, and UNC Wilmington as the 3. Bryant's your 4 out of the America East. I love all the cameras. I'd look out for Charleston here as a 3. This is one of the potential destinations for Charleston. James Madison gets in. That was a bubble team.
Yeah. So wait, does that mean TCU's out?
No, I wouldn't say TCU's out yet. Raleigh probably wouldn't have been a destination for them. TCU could head to College Station as a 3.
I think they may be out. No, I don't know.
I mean, they're definitely on a bubble. I mean, they've only got one more destination left. That makes logistical sense. South Carolina is your 2 seed in Raleigh.
It's Raleigh, right?
I mean, tomato.
I thought you were being facetious at first when you were saying it.
No, I don't.
Raleigh.
They're the Rally Caps or something. All right, so Georgia is the 7th overall seed. I forgot to update that. Change my color.
Are we surprised by that?
Yeah, I was caught off guard for sure. I thought they were going to be outside of
the early exit in the SEC, which I get. The SEC tournament, they don't really put a lot of stock in.
Last night, Grambling State really kind of struggled to fit in any regional logistically. Wofford and Duke are already out, so this is going to be a completely new regional for me. Army 4th seed overall over in the Athens regional here.
We got some Georgia in the party. I'll leave it at that. You'll see in a second.
Georgia Tech, they were a bubble team. They were on the outside looking in for us. We had Georgia Tech.
What a fun offensive regional with Drew Burris and
Condon.
Yeah, hey, look,
and Georgia Tech. They played Georgia earlier this season. It was not great. The 2 seed is UNC Wilmington. That's a week 2.
Yeah,
this is a weaker regional. I think Georgia got a very, very, very favorable regional. This is an issue because Georgia was a weaker top 8 seed. This is your worst regional so far. I do not like this.
Yeah,
that was poor. Potential dream super regional matchups here. If it goes chalk, it would be Georgia, NC State. Also, it could be Georgia Tech, South Carolina, another regional matchup. Georgia Tech, NC State, ACC there. The Georgia South Carolina potential is there for an SEC super regional, but also UNC Wilmington against South Carolina is another regional matchup. I don't know if they played each other earlier this year. Clemson is the 6th overall seed. Again, I didn't get to update a lot of those. The Clemson regional from last night, I had Coastal Carolina as the 3 here. This is probably your last spot for the Chanticleers if you're looking for Coastal Carolina this season. High Point as the 4 seed because Coastal's not going to go to College Station, Tucson, or Stillwater. There are other 3 seeds that make sense for those regions. Actually, Santa Barbara, not Tucson, sorry. There are other three
Nailed it.
seeds that make sense. Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. I'm not sure if I'm pumped about that, but they are in, and we got that
It's going
right.
to be a fun regional.
Yeah, who's the 2 seed here?
Oh, yeah.
Vanderbilt. Oh,
Yeah.
Vandy's been sent there a couple of times in the recent years. I love as a Clemson like rider. I mean, I like this regional a lot. I really do. What's your opinion?
I mean, that should be Clemson's to walk away with.
Yeah. Stillwater Regionals, the 11th overall seed, Oklahoma State. I got text from Rocco Miller saying, is Florida out? ?
It looks like it.
I mean, unless they go get sent west of Barbara, they were a candidate as a 3 seed to get punished and go out west. That's the last.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Florida is not
they're
out.
in Stillwater. They're in Stillwater.
They're in Stillwater.
Florida has the 3 seed in Stillwater. Niagara is your 4 seed against Oklahoma State in game 1 there. Who's the 2 seed, Matt? You're 5 or 10 seconds in front of me.
Nebraska Cornhuskers are your 2.
Hey, we're both on Oklahoma State here. We both recently just kind of handicapped them and gave them out, right?
Yeah.
Oklahoma State to win it all. That is a regional that I don't mind at all, but I do hate that my 2 larger positions this season on national championship outrights, Clemson, Oklahoma State, would be the super regional here, but at least it gives me an out in the College World Series. It gives me a final 8 team. Potential dream super regional matchups here. Clemson, Oklahoma State, of course. Clemson, not really any other get your popcorn matchups in Stillwater regional. Oklahoma State, Coastal Carolina would be a very offensive regional, but Oklahoma State can also pitch pretty well too. Honestly, I think Oklahoma State, Clemson are pretty, I would set these as minus money favorites to get out of the regional.
So in the Arkansas regional, we have Louisiana Tech is the
2. Holy shit, I just lost connection to the selection show. Did you? No?
No.
Okay, I got it back. UC Santa Barbara is the 4 seed here. They're the 14th overall seed here. Fresno State is the 4 seed. Oregon is your 3 seed. That was to be expected. Expect a strong 2. San Diego. Yeah. We were talking last night. So 2 mid-majors as the 1 and 2 seed in this regional. We were expecting kind of 2 high majors as the 2 and 3 seed in that regional, but they instead pair up 2 of the better mid-majors together in their regional. The final regional to be unveiled here, College Station. If you're a TCU fan, you're looking for this here. If you're a Charleston fan, this is your last shot. If you're a Troy fan, this is your last shot. If you're a Cal fan, this is your last shot. Northeastern, if you have a future on them, this is your last shot. As the 3 seed, of course. That would be coming up right now as Grambling State was just announced as the 4 seed in College Station. They're on the bus currently. The 3 seed. Get your popcorn. Who is it going to be? The final team. They're giving Grambling a lot of airtime. Here it is. Texas. No drama there. That's one of your better 3 seeds. So they're not even a higher 2 in College Station. That's a good 3 seed. Texas A&M getting a tough regional here. Expect a week or 2. Louisiana.
Wow.
There's your field of 64. TCU, Troy, Georgia Southern.
So no TCU.
They do not get in. No TCU. We missed one. We missed one team in our projection here. TCU for Georgia Tech was the one team that we missed last night. 63 out of 64. All righty. So of the 8 teams that were just announced, I'll expand the view of this real quick for you, Grissom. Most interesting regional from the second half of this show that just got announced here: College Station, Santa Barbara, Clemson, Stillwater, Athens, Raleigh, Lexington, Corvallis.
I'm still trying to fill everything out, but I feel like you've got some big names in the Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Florida, even though like Florida's not been what they are. If you would have told me last year that the following year it was going to be Florida.
You just lagged out for 20
Yeah,
seconds.
I lost connection with you for a second. Man.
So your most interesting regional out of the 8 teams on the right side of the screen currently.
I'm thinking there's really not going to be a big upset out of any of them. I think if I'm looking at it from purely that standpoint, I mean, A&M should win, Clemson should win, Georgia is probably the best team out of that, which as a futures, I have Georgia 12-1 to make the College World Series or to make the Omaha 8.
This entire portion of the of the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, NC State's been so Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know what Wolfpack team you get. Oklahoma State has been playing out of their minds lately. I feel like they should just be able to walk right through that regional, and they could push Clemson. I mean, I think they could, in that super regional, they could make a lot of noise against Clemson, who I know you're higher on them than I am.
Yeah,
but
in my opinion, I think the best regional that was just announced was College Station. Texas A&M as the 1. Texas is a 3 seed with the Louisiana Raging Cajuns as the 2. Yeah, that's a very fun regional for sure.
I don't know. I feel like A&M walks through it.
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not just most interesting regional.
Yeah, when I think of fun, like I want to upset
everything up.
I want some upsets when I think fun. Either that or just a billion runs scored like that Arkansas-Oklahoma State regional, which we could get with Oklahoma State and Florida. Oregon screwed. Guns up, Cowboys. Moneyline.
Yeah,
Mac.
I'm scrolling through the YouTube chats currently. King Jansen, Florida doesn't deserve to be there. Alley Cat asking if TCU is going to make it. Unfortunately, they just got left out. Greetings from the Baton Rouge. Go Tigers, says Desi Kent. Bailey, we're a couple of minutes behind going through all the YouTube chats. So he said that's a fun regional, probably to the Corvallis regional, I think. UCSB balanced regional. I would agree with you. Jagger Sports says is LSU winning their regional. Adrian Zante says Fresno State Bulldogs, go Bulldogs. Texas was a gross choice, in my opinion, says Crutch. I think it was the obvious choice for the College Station regional. Remrek says, I'm surprised they didn't send Nebraska to College Station. Kip C says, no TCU, very interesting. Bailey said, I'd laugh if the Raging Cajuns get out of College Station. Desi Kent, looking forward to LSU and Chapel Hill. Austin M says, Stillwater is a weird regional. They have Nebraska, Florida. Nebraska is local. It logistically makes sense. Florida was a candidate to be sent out west. I'm not surprised that Florida got sent west there. And Niagara, you often get that with the 4 seeds from the Northeast. All right, the show's back on. We're probably going to get an interview from the commissioner here and some explanation on some of the decisions. Moneyline Max says, shocker, they crammed in another ACC team for the last bubble spot instead of TCU. It is what it is. Not really a surprise. Matt Hogue, the athletic director of Coastal Carolina, is joining the show currently. Bailey says Clemson Regional is going to be electric as well as College Station. Kip C, the Stillwater Regional might put up insane runs. Sauna Pete says Georgia. Bailey, NC State is going to roll. They're asking about East Carolina getting a host seed instead of Duke currently.
Certainly want to send our appreciation to all those that serve within our military
Your Greenville regional was East Carolina, Evansville is the 4, Wake Forest is the 2, VCU is the 3. Week 3, strong 4, very strong 2 in the Greenville regional here with your weakest 1 seed.
I think what came down to is a variety of factors, really a holistic approach. But we looked at common opponents, we looked at how successful teams have been in their conference, the amount of series wins. For example,
series wins was taken into account for East Carolina. It probably in favor for the Pirates over the Blue Devils there. He's talking about common opponents. However, Duke had a win over East Carolina this season.
East Carolina deserved that spot. Let's take a look at the bubble here. The last 4 in, the first.
Talking about last 4 in, first 4 out currently. The last 4 in was Coastal Carolina, Indiana. Both of those had representation in the committee. James Madison and UCF was one of your last 4 teams in. Surprising for sure there. Your first 4 out were Cal, Charleston, Cincinnati, and TCU. 2 Big 12 teams there in the first 4 out. Charleston, of course, that's a big blow to win the regular season, do everything you can. You didn't schedule well, so that's a knock against your own effort to get into the field. However, that's a tough blow for Charleston.
I think Duke got screwed majorly.
Duke?
Yeah.
I think they got a favorable regional, though. In Norman, all they really kind of have to worry about is Oklahoma. Duke was a weaker 3. I mean, UConn was a weaker 3, and they're kind of the same, archetype as Duke, where they really rely on their pitching. Duke's going to outslug them in game 1 there.
Yeah.
Committee member or committee chairman Matt Hogue talking about no full round robin scheduling anymore is going to be an issue. It already was an issue this year as conferences continue to expand.
One of the teams we did not see on the bubble was Florida. They clearly
Florida was not on the last 4 in graphic there.
That's crazy.
Shout out to Matt Schick asking that question.
That means the committee already had them in. Like, there was never a question, which is pretty wild considering they're 1 game above 500.
It is pretty wild.
Significant amount of deliberation and conversation. No question about that. I think, again, one of the key aspects for
it's actually like super surprising that they were not on the last 4 in. That means like most of your committee members thought, hey, the SEC was pretty damn good this year. Let's give them 11 bids. Let's not even put one of them on the bubble, as you had 2 Big 12 teams in the first 4 out. Instead of targeting the ACC, getting the last team in with Georgia Tech, I would, if I was a Big 12 fan, hoping for that extra bid, either TCU or Cincinnati, I would have been going at Florida there.
Very beneficial when you're in the room and the committee is looking over the amount of data that's considered. You know you're going to hear this, so I'm going to ask you. Kansas State, Indiana, Coastal.
Matt Schick, Kansas State. He just asked about all 4 teams kind of on the bubble with representation on the committee here.
How would you characterize the challenges of having a committee with so many people that have a vested interest in the outcome?
Which one of the national seeds do you feel like got the easiest draw or the easiest
Georgia.
path to Omaha?
It's a joke. Georgia, I didn't even think was a top 8 seed, and they've got probably the easiest path to Omaha, I think.
They have to leave the room. They can't be a part of the discussion. They also cannot be a part of the voting procedure. So,
who would they play? Florida State? No.
Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia got moved up, didn't they?
Yeah, Georgia's a 7 seed overall. They have UNC Wilmington as a 2. Georgia Tech has a 3 in their regional. And then NC State opposing them for the Super. It would be either NC State, South Carolina, or James Madison. That's terrible.
I agree.
I would say kind of across the board.
So, yeah, I mean, when you have 4 people with vested interest on the committee here, and they're all bubble teams, all 4 of them have to recuse themselves from the conversation. We're already talking about a committee with, minimal numbers. Now you're squeezing down the committee down to like 6 or 7 voices instead of where it was previously at. we'll get to a lot of the novelty questions in a quick second. I appreciate everybody else staying in here currently as I'm just trying to squeeze any extra juice out of the analysis here as Kyle Peterson, Mike Rooney on the desk with Matt Schick. What's up, Grissom?
I went back and I'm watching the initial release, and Duke looks very deflated.
Oh, for sure. They should be pissed off. But I think they got a great regional. They'll go in there super pissed off, and I think they knock off Oklahoma, I think.
Oral Roberts, Golden Eagles, is that their mascot?
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah,
State.
Lamar wasn't even in the first 4 out, KP mentions.
This is
TCU went 8-0 against the Pack. Now, granted, they didn't play the top end of the Pack, but they didn't go 8-0 against the Pack. And they went 2-0 against Dallas Pack. Like, they're not conference. UCLA was down this year, but when you schedule UCLA, I think it's probably going to be a pretty good series. At 8 points. All
righty. I think we've got most of what we need. They're going to get ready to interview Vitello. Then they're probably going to give out some of their picks. So let's jump into some of the novelty questions, and then we'll get out of here. Grissom, I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit here. The first question I have is strongest regional out of the 16 that we saw today. We're already you asked me about the weakest, and I said Georgia. I don't know if you agree with that. If you have another weakest regional, let me know. But strongest regional, in your opinion, is what?
That's perfect timing because I just finished my sheet from playing catch up. I mean, just regional, not the super regional matchup.
Yeah, just regional. Strongest regional.
I think UC Santa Barbara, San Diego, Oregon. Give me a triple-sided coin because I think any of those teams could come out of that one. Which that may be a bit of a cop-out just because they're all West Coast. They're all just kind of over there together, play similar style ball.
Yeah.
I would say North Carolina got a pretty shitty draw. Having LSU. That's going to I don't know. That's going to be tough. LSU's playing really well right now.
Yeah.
And then looking at Kentucky, I think Kentucky may have gotten one of the easiest paths. I mean,
I don't know. I
State,
think the
Illinois,
Kentucky one's strong. I think that's a stronger regional. For me, the answer as the most stacked regional is also in the West, but it's the Tucson regional. Arizona is the 1 seed here. Dallas Baptist has a very strong 2. And also they got a really strong 3 in West Virginia. And then Grand Canyon was a 4 seed that was in consideration to become a 3 seed too. This is a super, just by seeding, didn't make much sense. This is a super, super strong regional. I don't agree with West Virginia getting sent out west at all. So yeah, I mean, Tucson regional is my answer there for the strongest. We're getting a couple of the novelty questions that I had on my list here. 4 seed, favorite 4 seed to possibly advance out of a regional. This is instant reaction. Like gun to your head. You're not going to be held against this throughout the rest of the week at all. Certainly I won't be doing that to you, but 4 seed that you like the most to be the most frisky in the regional and possibly advance out.
Who is the 4 in Virginia? I did not
Penn.
get that one.
Penn.
Oh, the Quakers, they were my darling last year. They got the big upset, I think, over Auburn.
Yeah.
No. I would say if East Carolina didn't have Wake, I would say Evansville could probably give East Carolina some problems, but I think Wake comes out of that regional.
I'm going to go with Stetson. I'm really impressed with Stetson. They all punch up really well against other Florida foes. And you've got 2 of them in this regional with them in Florida State and UCF, and Alabama's a week or 2. I like Stetson as a dangerous 4 seed here. We've got your partner in crime, Quentin Mills. I'm going to have to, you know what? I'm going to see if he fits real quick on this layout. He does. All right, cool. I don't have to worry about anything. There we go. All right.
Oh, hey,
Are you aware of all the regionals? Did you see the selection show today?
Yeah, I figured I'd come on for like 2 or 3 minutes until I catch a run.
So novelty questions, and then we're gonna get out of here in 5 or 10 minutes here. Strongest regional that jumps off the paper in your opinion?
Man, sorry, I'm trying to view it as well.
No, you're cool.
I think the obvious answer is Tucson. That was one that we.
You didn't even say that as an answer.
I know, because we had already talked about it.
Yeah,
we talked about it like right when I came on the show. That was just a really fun regional.
I think Tucson. I mean, it's going to sound like a homer pick, but I think the Nebraska, Florida, and Oklahoma State is pretty intriguing because I think Nebraska's pitching will keep them in it. I don't know about offensively, but you still have and I'm not saying Florida's going to win, but you still have the potential of Florida kind of breaking out. The talent is there on paper. It's not a surprise. Oklahoma State can give up runs. Obviously, that bodes well to Florida's offense, but then Oklahoma State's matched on the ball. So ultimately, I think
Oklahoma State also top 10 nationally in ERA too. So
I think they come out on top, but it's a good on paper.
Yeah. Weakest regional. Grissom, let's get his reaction. Don't give away the answers that we talked about.
Wow.
I'm trying to see here. Sorry, I'm on a small screen.
No, you're cool.
Weak.
I think
UC Santa Barbara's is pretty weak.
Oh, and Grissom thought that was strong. See, Grissom? Exactly. That's why we wanted his instant reaction there. I don't think Santa Barbara is too strong. I also don't think they're too weak either. My answer was Athens. Grissom went with Santa Barbara there. Did you have another answer, Grissom, by the way, on the weakest?
On the weakest?
Yeah. Was it Santa Barbara and that was the only one?
I think I said Santa Barbara was going to be a good one because they're all bottleneck. I mean, Oregon, San Diego, UC Santa Barbara. You've got 3 West Coast teams that all play similar.
Well, I think
I know, and
there's a different conversation.
Q said it was weaker. Yeah, and Q said it was a weaker regional in Santa Barbara. That's what I was mentioning. Do you have a second candidate? Thank you, Sauna Pete, for the $50 tip. And he said, thanks for the unending content, Noah. Take the day off tomorrow and go see Fusocia. Tomorrow, I might take the day off and go see Jared Jones versus Tarek Skubal. And then Wednesday, Paul Skeens comes to town to face Jack Flaherty. So very fun
we need to get tips
series that I might do.
I think Kentucky and Texas A&M both got easy regionals.
I think the Texas A&M one's
super, Arkansas for that matter.
I think the College Station regional is super interesting. I don't know if it's
Read me
strong.
those ones off.
Kentucky got Indiana State, Illinois, and Western Michigan. Texas A&M got Louisiana, Texas, and Grambling.
I mean, I think Louisiana could pose a little problems. The only negative they have is, to me, they're a pretty small ball style team, and they're going to have to compete against A&M's kind of bombing lineup. So
I will say college, Bluebell Park is one of the larger parks, so the small ball should be able to play a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just tough when they're able to hit it out like it's easy and you're competing. Again, this is why Florida was so dominant last year. They could be down 3 runs and get it back in 2 swings, whereas other teams don't have that ability.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see that with A&M this year as being that power lineup.
All right, strongest 4 seed, the 4 seed that you think has the best chance to get out of a regional.
Man, I'll be honest, I didn't read the 4 seeds as well. Read me off the 4 seeds because I'm on a phone. So
Northern Kentucky and Knoxville against Tennessee,
Nope.
Evansville and Greenville against East Carolina, Grambling in College Station against Texas A&M, Fresno State and Santa Barbara against UC Santa Barbara, Stetson and Tallahassee against Florida State, Oral Roberts and Norman against Oklahoma, High Point and Clemson against Clemson, Niagara and Stillwater against Oklahoma State, Bryant against NC State and Raleigh, Army against Georgia and Athens, Penn against Virginia and Charlottesville, Southeast Missouri State against Arkansas and Fayetteville, Long Island against North Carolina and Chapel Hill, Grand Canyon against Arizona and Tucson, Western Michigan against Kentucky in the Lexington, and Tulane against Oregon State in Corvallis.
Off of those, just initial, Fresno State could give Santa Barbara problems. I think being West Coast, it's not a far travel for them. Again, I'm not looking at any numbers. That's just initial gut. And then who was in Greensville's region? ECU?
Yeah, it's all instant reaction right now. Don't worry about it. Evansville is a strong 4 in Greenville.
Evansville is a huge strong 4.
So
that's what I said too, but I don't. The problem is Wake Forest is sitting there.
If anybody in the YouTube chat or Twitter chat have any questions, let them rip and we'll answer them to finish out the show. My last kind of niche question here is the team that you feel most confident in their draw getting to Omaha right now. My answer would be Georgia.
Who would UVA's region potentially face?
Arkansas.
I think Mississippi State has a damn good chance.
Against Arkansas?
I think so. It depends. Well, I'd say this.
Didn't they lose the series, though, against Arkansas earlier this year in Fayetteville?
Well, yeah.
Like 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Arkansas, I thought Mississippi State played them pretty well.
They did.
Yeah.
But it's in Fayetteville. A super regional in Fayetteville is tough.
It is. If Arkansas can find hitting, they're one of the best teams in college baseball, and they can compete with Tennessee. If they can't find the hitting like they have struggled the last couple of weeks, Mississippi State's prime for an upset. I mean, we saw it last year, right? TCU went in there against Arkansas, who just had a dull, moment of hitting, and it cost them. And we're kind of looking at the same scenario, in my opinion, a hungry team, because I think Mississippi State's getting out of the Charlottesville region. I think their pitching's better. They're able to score runs against a UVA team who has great offense but can't stop any of us at the plate. So I think it matches up well if Arkansas struggles to hit the ball. If Arkansas hits the ball, Mississippi State does not advance.
So, yeah, my answer is Georgia. They have a pretty friendly regional. Week 2 with UNC Wilmington, a week 3, or just a last team in, and Georgia Tech as a 3 seed. Georgia previously won the series against the Yellow Jackets earlier this season, and the opposing regional would be NC State or South Carolina, who they have previously swept this season, or the 3 seed James Madison, the 4 seed Bryant Bulldogs. I think Georgia had the most dream regional draws. Grissom, your instant reaction favorite to get to Omaha currently?
I think it's Oklahoma State. I think Clemson is on a downward trajectory. If you get a super regional between Oklahoma State and Clemson, I think Oklahoma State's playing too well.
I like Noah. Oh, sorry. Noah Lejeune says, what non-SEC host got the best draw? Let's take a look here.
I think Mississippi State.
So, yeah, Mississippi State is the 2 seed, and Virginia is probably your best draw.
We said non-SEC team.
Yeah,
non-SEC host.
That question, the question is a little bit tricky with the wording. So is he looking for an SEC team that's not hosting, or a host that's not an SEC team?
What non-SEC team host, non-host SEC team got? Yeah, I would say Mississippi State.
I think Mississippi State's your strongest. 2 in a weaker regional to get out, and then they would have to face Arkansas. But I do think that's a strong, a favorable draw for Mississippi State there. That was kind of instant when I said that, when they were announced on that 2 line there.
Yeah.
Taking quick looks around everywhere else. I think that one's your answer.
Because you look at LSU, they've got North Carolina. That's tough. And then you've got Vanderbilt, who's got Clemson, and then
Vanderbilt can't play anywhere outside of Nashville.
Yeah. All right. Next question here comes from Kip C. How many super regionals do we see without a national seed?
Man, that's a
good
tough
question. Hang on.
It's an outstanding question, but I don't know if we see one.
I think
last year we had Oregon and Oral Roberts, and that was the only one. Or actually, no, it was Tennessee Southern Miss too. So we had 2 last year.
I'll
I'm
be
taking
honest,
a
I
quick
got to bow
look.
out on that question. I just can't see the screen well enough.
Personally, I think I would go with you've got a shot with the Chapel Hill Regional and Tucson Regional that both hosts do not get out. LSU has a strong chance of getting out of North Carolina's regional, and then Dallas Baptist and West Virginia are a strong 2 and 3 in Tucson. That would then create 2 non-regional hosts in a super regional there. That would probably be, I think, your strongest chance for not a 1 seed to get out.
I would say maybe 8, 9 in Florida State, Oklahoma, because I think Duke wins the Oklahoma regional. And I mean, if Alabama or UCF could push Florida State, Florida State has been good this year, but I don't think they're as dominant as their 42-15 record looks like. Jamie Arnold has been good, but if he throws against Stetson, which I feel like he probably needs to, because they can mess around and lose that game.
Mistaken.
Do what?
Stetson beat Florida State, if I'm not mistaken, pretty recently.
So I feel like Florida State can't screw around. They need to throw Jamie Arnold against Stetson.
Yeah, you have
win
to
that one, and then whoever wins between UCF and Alabama, which I feel like is going to be Bama, they could pose some problems with Greg Ferrone, Ben Hess, and
Zane Adams.
Yeah, Zane Adams. Alabama could be salty, and that's not SEC bias. It's just like the way that
Ferrone, Adams, and Hess is a 3-man horse that is built for a tournament.
Just scrolling through all the YouTube comments with questions. This year's Ole Miss, the one of the last few teams in, who's most poised to make a deep run this year?
I don't know. That's tough.
My obvious answer would have been Oklahoma State, but they started heating up a lot sooner than Ole Miss did.
Yeah. What
seed
seed was Ole Miss that year? Was they a 2 or a 3?
They were 3.
They were a 3.
They were 3 in Miami, the Coral Gables regional with Arizona.
Was Arizona. Yeah. Arizona was a 2. Miami was a 1.
Take this for a grain of salt, and it's going to sound biased, but
it's all instant reaction. You're all right.
I know where he's going.
Yeah, I do too.
On paper, if you're looking at rosters, Florida has the ability to be that team. Realistically, will they be that team? No, in my opinion, not. But as an instant reaction, just based off of that, I think they've got the roster to do it. Out of that 3 seed, I mean, is Mississippi State considered that?
No.
But no, I think they were
They were in comfortably. I think my answer for this question is also going to be a cop-out. I'm going to go with Georgia Tech, the 3 seed in that Athens regional that I think is super weak. You're looking at a Georgia team that struggles on the mound. Georgia Tech also does, but I mean, they can bang it out too with Georgia. So if they're able to get out of the Athens regional, they've got a shot against this Raleigh regional that I don't view that regional as strong. So Georgia Tech is a candidate for that question too.
They lack pitching. I think what's going to hurt them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's obvious, but I think Georgia also does too. Georgia doesn't have a clear 1 ace.
So. UC Santa Barbara, how they're 10-0 in their last 10. We've got them number 8 in power ratings. I didn't realize UC Santa Barbara really turned it on because they started off
the year quietly.
They finished the year 24-4.
Yeah, that's impressive. I'm just looking at our rankings. That's one of the cool new features over there at collegebaseballinsiders.com.
Shameless Pack says, wait, is this final or is it projections? It is final, baby. This is our bracket.
Yeah.
This is the field of 64. Bailey says the Tallahassee regional is so electric as well. Tennessee, Southern Miss, rematch from last year's super regional as the 1 and 2 seeds there. And then 3 seeds, Indiana, 4th seeds, Northern Kentucky. We've seen a Horizon League 4 seed go in there and give Tennessee some fits in game 1. I don't think Northern Kentucky is that kind of team this year. But thank you all for tuning in. We had consistently over 275 people on YouTube today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Grissom, for spending some time with me while the bracket was being unveiled. Thank you, Q, for coming in last minute and offering your opinions as well. I really appreciate your guys' company today. Everybody that's been listening, you've been experiencing the better side of college baseball with the College Baseball Experience. Adios, amigos.